Today I want to talk about something different, something I don't really see get talked about enough, and that's men's mental health. Now, before the females are like, well, where's a female's mental health video? I'm not a female. This is not for females. This is for men. That's because I am a man. I feel like we all need a video like this just to talk about, our mentals. Now, I could have probably dropped this a month ago or 2 months ago. I don't know when the men's mental awareness month was, but you know what? I decided to drop it today, so freaking bite me. I think men's mental health is something that, doesn't get talked about enough. As a man growing up on my own, with no pops, nobody to really vent to and just, get knowledge from and advice from, it was tough. I'm thankful for my mother being there, doing her best as she can. My sisters, they try their best, but it is definitely tough. And I know there's a lot of guys out there who even have pops that are in their life and still struggle with mental health. Because, I feel like we guys just feel like we have to bottle everything in and just take it all in the chin, pause, just thug it out, right? That's what everybody says, just thug it out. For the most part, that's right, because in nowadays society, not much people really care about us men. As they always say, children, females, and then pets, then men. Really, like, pets are more cherished and cared for than, like, men, which... it's kind of unfair, but it's life, I guess, which sucks to say. But I think we as a society need to do better addressing the situation and the issue. And I get that a lot of females, there's a lot of crazy men out there. I get that. Females are traumatized, some men are crazy, understandable. I hate that all men get boxed into one little, like, just ideation or just hatred. I see a lot nowadays. It's kill all men, or fuck all men, or I hate all men. And I know most people who say that, most females who say that probably don't really mean it, and could have just said that out of a pain from a previous relationship with a man, or encounter with a man or somebody, a male figure in their life. But I think it's definitely a very negative thing to just keep saying and keep spreading, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of hardworking men, there's a lot of loving fathers, a lot of loving men in this world, and it's unfair for them to just get categorized in this hatred just because some other men don't want to take up the stride and just be a normal human being. You would never really catch a man saying fuck all women or kill all women, because we love women. We need women just like women need men. And I know y'all say, women do not need men. Let's drop that argument right now. Women need men, men need women. Simple as that. I mean, not saying women can do stuff on their own, and not saying men can do everything on their own, but that's why God created two, is yin and yang. We need each other. You feel what I'm saying? And without each other, this world would not be what it is today. And it just doesn't make sense to just act like that's not true, because I know deep down, I don't really think that's true. I mean, it's ridiculous to think, women could survive without men, or men could survive without women. Honestly speaking, we all need each other. I saw a movie, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a movie where it's a world where it was only females and men were like outcasts and pushed out of the way, and it's just a picture perfect life. And that movie just completely stupid, respectfully. Like, it's dumb as fuck. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that women can do that they need men's help for, and a lot of things that men can do they need women's help for. So that's why in primal days and olden days, called hunting and gathering. You feel what I'm saying? The men hunt, the women gather. You know what I'm saying? Like, yin and yang. It's always been that. So it just doesn't make sense. And we evolve all the way down into a generation where we don't want to hunt and gather. We want to just gather. What are you gathering? What actually are you gathering? You want to, you don't need men to do what men do. Okay. Like 90%. Okay, that's a crazy percentage. A percentage of the heavy labor and heavy work duties are done by men. And not saying women can't do it or women don't do it, but it's just a fact that men do it. Now, this sounds like I'm a misogynist or whatever. I love my women. You feel what I'm saying? I grew up in a household of all ladies. 2 sisters, a mother. That's it. I would kill for them. I would jump in a bullet for them. You feel what I'm saying? But it was just a topic that kind of came up on the stream, and somebody was like, make a video about it. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. I should make a video about it. And I'm gonna just touch on a couple things in this video. We don't give enough gratitude and respect to what men do. I feel like how do I word this without sound like a douchebag? Women do a lot in this society. Men do a lot. I think we should just be able to appreciate, each other equally. And one more thing I wanted to touch about was relationships and just mental health and stuff. I had somebody in my chat come in the chat and just tell me about his relationship, and his girl of a month or so had broken up with him, even though she told him he was the ideal man or guy and she liked him, all that, but it just wasn't gonna work out. And I kind of, could relate to that a lot, because I've had instances where, I felt like this person is perfect, or this person felt like I was good, but it's just that missing part, and that missing part was just to say it all, right? It was just to do all says all. I don't know if that's a word, but it's a very weird thing to me, because women, I feel like, are very confusing creatures, and I'm trying to call you creatures, but the confusing beings. You could fit everything in a category, and it's like you could have 80% of what they're looking for, and the 20% that you don't have is enough for them to let it all go, which never made sense to me. But I feel like that's why you live life, right? You live and learn, and just keep living until you find that person who you are their 100%. You feel what I'm saying? And I understand it in a way, like, yeah, you might they're loving in this way, you might be handsome, you might be caring, all that, but the 20% is enough to drive to I don't understand how exactly to word it, because I don't even understand how to word it, because I don't know what to word. I think a relationship, could only work if it's 100%, honestly. If it's a 90% doubt, it's not gonna work, in my opinion. It might go 5 years, it might go 8 years, it might go 10 years. I doubt it's ever gonna fully work. And that's why some rare cases of people actually fall in love at a young age, and then marry and live on for the rest of their life together. And some people fall in love at a very late age or middle age, and just never really get to last. And I think it's really because of just simplicity. When you're younger, you don't really have much care in the world, right? It's, oh, this guy is cute, this guy fits everything that I want, let me get to know him. Oh, I got to know him a lot more, and I actually fell in love with him more, because we just click on so many bases, this, that, and the third, all on the way till you grow up, and you're still loving each other because you already know each other, you already fit all the bases, there's nothing else to hide from each other. Some people get bored and try to move on, and that's on you. You want to see other fishes in the sea. Why? You already have a shark beside you, but you want to leave that and go for goldfish, and see if there's more sharks. You already have a shark. Why look for more sharks? I think that's just what humans are. We get very bored, and we get very just indecisive and just curious, and curiosity kills the cat, as a lot of people say. Now, to tie it on with the men thing, I think, well, I'm gonna speak for me as a man. I'm gonna speak for myself. I overthink a lot. I'm a very clingy, not clingy per se, but I want a lot of reassurance, right? I'm the type of person, like, I overthink a lot, as I said. So reassurance goes a long way. And if I even feel the slight bit of, like, detaching from somebody I really like, and I attach to people too easily, that's definitely a issue I'm trying to solve. And it's tough, because I feel like I have attachment issues, and this is me being completely vulnerable to you guys right now, because I don't know why exactly, but I attach to people too easily, and when it never works out, or it doesn't work out, inevitably, it feels weird to just have to let go of that, but even though I know it's probably for the best, and I know there's probably a lot of you guys out there too who feel the same way, just finding something else to do would, I don't even know how to, because I'm not a teacher, right? This is me just talking about how I feel, and trying to relate to a lot of other guys, because I genuinely don't fully understand why I feel this way or how to make it better, but I've been finding new things to try to keep my mind off of things like that, because I feel like sometimes I don't know if I'm too clingy or too distant, because there's instances where it's, oh wow, dude, just back up, you're too clingy. But then it's also instances where it's like, well, I didn't know you like me because you weren't clingy enough. So it's just like, how do you get to the right point of that, right? It's very, very tough. But for me, I try to find new things to keep my mind off, like reading my Bible, getting closer to God. That definitely helps a lot. Whatever you believe in, I think get close to that person, to that not person. God is not a person, but get close to that thing, because it will help you a long way to understand what you really want to do. But that's just the honest thing. I feel like I don't talk about that a lot on this channel, and I want to talk about it, so bite me. But yeah, I think back to the whole mental awareness thing. As a man, just love yourself a lot. I know it's tough to find somebody you could really talk to, but if you do have somebody you could talk to, I say talk to them. And if you don't, talk to God, talk to your God. You feel what I'm saying? Because me, I like to consider myself a very outgoing person. Like, I'm not scared to really talk to anybody outside. But I do also tend myself being a lot more like private about my mentals, and just not talking to people close to me about personal stuff. I like to bundle it in and just say, oh, I got this. I'm gonna thug it out. I'm a man. I don't need to talk to nobody. But I've noticed that does mess with my mentals a lot. It makes me overthink a lot. It makes me sometimes depressed. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But then I also try to think, like, why am I being depressed? Some people don't have arms. Some people don't have legs. Some people don't have eyes. So you think they're not depressed? You think they're not sad? Who am I, who has hands, eyes? I could talk, I could walk probably. Who am I to be depressed and feel sad inside when somebody's going through worse? So I feel like as men, that's the things we have to think about, which is unfair and unfortunate. But that's life, right? And also women, I'm pretty sure y'all go through your own things. Y'all got a lot of things going on with y'all. But I feel like women are more sociable creatures. Sociable creatures. I don't even know if that's even a word, but yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all could talk y'all feelings out a lot better than men can. And that's just how things have been. That's how things will be for a long time, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, just random yap session about things. Yeah, I don't know why I'm even yapping about this, but I just felt like yapping about it. Let me know y'all thoughts about anything I yapped about in the comments below. If y'all do want somebody to talk to, join the streams on Twitch. FlashDust was taken. I'm open to talk to anybody about anything that's legal. And yeah, I think we all need somebody to just listen to, and just even women, men, women, just need somebody to listen to them. And I could be a listening ear. And words of affirmation, man, try to stop. It's one thing I really wish all men and women around the world could just try to do a lot more, is care less about what people think. I think that has definitely helped me a lot mentally, just caring less about what people think about me. Growing up, I'm not gonna lie, I was bullied a lot. Being African, being incredibly short growing up, just a lot more other things. Just I was an easy target of bullying, and that used to affect me a lot. And I'm kind of thankful for it at the end of the day, because I grew up thicker skin, and it made me care less about what people really think. And I survived. But yeah, I think just caring less about what people think about you definitely helps a lot. And it helps you separate yourself from the crowd, because I think a lot, especially in this generation where a lot of people are just on the internet too much, and especially I think COVID really ruined a lot of people's lives, just not even just because of COVID itself, just because of the internet. I think we spent way too much time on the internet, which just got ingrained into our genes and just our brains. Kids are literally coming out the womb with tablets and shit now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think just stop caring what people think. Stop fitting in with the crowd. Be your own self. Love yourself. Reassure yourself that you are perfect because God made you perfect. And you could be short. You could be tall. You could be messy right now. Whatever it is, right? Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Things will get better. And love yourself. If nobody else does, at least God loves you. And that's what I'm gonna leave on this random yap video today. And yeah, until next time, we'll catch y'all boys and girls in the next one. Toodles. I see the look in your eyes. Are you Medusa? Cause I'm stuck inside. Solos don't know if I should even try. Feel like I'm crying, but no tears inside. Lately you've been
to piece together all the reasons why. Every time I'm close, it feels like goodbye. Oh, goodbye.